Welcome to Founders Future, a podcast powered by Closers.io, where we dive into the journeys of innovative entrepreneurs and explore the road ahead for them and their companies. I'm your host, Ammar, and in each episode, we uncover the stories behind impactful ventures, the challenges faced along the way, and the strategies driving their future growth. Today, we are absolutely thrilled to be joined by Kim Barnes, the founder and CEO of Barnes and Conti Associates, a leadership development and organizational consulting firm that has worked with Fortune 1000 companies, global enterprises, and government institutions for over 40 years. With a background in communication, psychology, and education, Kim is also the author of Exercising Influence and a pioneer in leadership decision-making, negotiation, and change management frameworks. Kim, welcome to Founders Future.
Thank you so much.
I am excited to dive in. I always like to take things back to the beginning. So can you take us on a little trip down memory lane to before you
Yeah,
started your company?
sure.
What were you doing at the time? And then what was really the motivation behind starting the company?
Had left a corporate job or a job with a large firm, and I was doing some consulting on my own. And actually, business got to be pretty busy. And I thought, I think I need to find a partner. It was also lonely working by myself when I was used to working with a team. So I went through mentally a list of the friends and colleagues whom I thought might be as a partner. And I chose Isabella Conti, who who had a lot of skills that I didn't have. So we were really a good match. And we had different customers, and part of the reason for getting together was so that we could take long vacations and somebody would take care of the customers.
Yeah,
We didn't have a big vision
yeah,
at that
fair enough.
time. Yeah.
I love that. So I'm curious, what did it start off as? What were you doing in the beginning? And then we can talk about the evolution and what it looks like today.
Sure. In the beginning, we were primarily doing create programs around creativity and innovation, which we still do. Just a little bit later than that, we picked up on a program from another company that was looking for partners, and that was a program in influence, and they also had one in negotiation. So we began teaching those programs, and after a number of years, I had spent a lot of time observing, studying how people communicate and influence one another before that. And through that program, I got a chance to watch live a lot of people experimenting with it. And so when that other company decided they no longer wanted to have partners, they wanted to go direct to customers, we decided we could go out on our own with those topics. And so those became the next areas of focus. And it built from there. But we still, I would I would not hesitate to say that influence has been our biggest program over the years. It's something everybody needs to get better at and wants to. And so that's been our most popular program, along with a program we developed later called strategic thinking. And so while we have, at least a dozen good, fully developed programs, those two topics seem to be the ones that have been the most interesting ones to our customers over the years.
Okay, very powerful. Walk me through today. You mentioned you have over a dozen different programs. Can you
Yes.
briefly touch upon some of the most popular ones that you cover? So there's the influence programs, there's the strategic thinking. But before we do that, let's start off with who would you say is your ideal customer? Who do you love to work with?
We love all our customers, right? But we particularly love the ones that stay with us over time and that come back and are really open to learning and are interested in the deeper topics, the kinds of topics that people don't necessarily learn in business school or in engineering school. So they're often large global companies with locations all over the world. And we like to do that. It gives us a chance to operate in different cultures, to get to know people in a variety of places. And so, in many ways, those customers have been the backbone of our work over the last
Yeah.
30, 40 years. Yeah.
Are there any specific sectors or industries that you focus on?
That has changed over the years. Right now, I would say the sector that we're most involved with is biotech and pharmaceuticals.
Okay.
But we have other customers in insurance and in finance and in manufacturing. And we work with a number of universities. It's pretty broad, but probably the most business these days is with pharma.
Okay. Very cool. Walk me through what a typical client engagement looks like. So if somebody is coming in and they're interested in one of your programs, how long does that typically last for? What are the deliverables with that? Walk me through the client journey typically from A to Z.
I'm struggling with that a little bit because there isn't exactly a typical one.
Fair.
We have so many different programs and we also do coaching and we do consulting. So every client journey is a little bit different, but I would say the most common is they have identified a skill or a skill set that's important to the organization. And sometimes we come in as part of a corporate university, but more often these days, it's part of a program like for emerging leaders or something like that, where we will deliver one or more of our programs, sometimes attached to a longer learning journey
Mm,
that they have. And
yeah.
those programs can range from bites of 3.5 to 4 hour virtual programs to 2 day in-person program. So we operate in all those different ways.
Okay. Very cool. Thank you for breaking that down. I'm super curious because we have a lot of coaches and consultants that listen to this. When it comes to the fulfillment, I'm curious your perspective on this. I had a gentleman on last week, and he was expressing frustrations with the fact that he could only take on so many clients, and there's an inherent cap to his business. So he was thinking about potentially bringing on more consultants or maybe doing more group coaching instead of the one-on-ones. So I'm curious for you, obviously you guys have been around for a long time, 41 years. So, what is your perspective around scaling a consulting business?
Yeah.
And what have you guys done to be able to expand your reach?
From the very beginning, we began finding partnerships with people at first in the US, and then increasingly we found global partners, did some translations. I spent a lot of time, along with other people in my company, flying around the world, getting people trained up and certified in our programs so that they could run their own businesses using our intellectual property. And so we we have over the year that is not easy to do. Anybody who's watching this and is thinking about trying, that's very difficult. There, we spend a lot of time working with people that then just couldn't deliver, couldn't manage it. But over the years, we've developed some really good, strong partnerships. And in the US, we have some people who are individuals that we might bring in to train our programs and who also might work with their own customers. Mostly it's with other companies, small usually, but not always, but also sometimes with individuals. It's hard to manage, it's hard to find the right people. Everybody's really enthusiastic at first, and then when they get into the business of having to learn the programs, bring other people in to learn them, and reach out to their customers with something new. It's complicated. It's not so easy. It takes time to find the right people and to work with them.
So, when you have these partnerships, is it more so referral partnerships where you get to pass on clients to if you have a wait list, for example? Or is it like they work underneath you? What does that look like?
The way it works is these are independent businesses. We partner with them as a strategic partnership. They have their own customers. If if we end up with a customer in their region, one of two things might happen. We might decide that customer needs a lot of hand holding and they would do
Mm,
well to have somebody that's nearby, and then we will transfer the customer to them and we will get paid for the intellectual property.
got
That
it.
doesn't happen very often. More of the time, we might have a customer in a region near them and we bring them in so that there's a local person who speaks the local language. But most of the time, they're going to sell our programs to their customers. We get them trained and certified, and
Got it.
we sell them the IP, or they pay a royalty depending on the arrangement. But
Okay.
mostly they're working with their own customers.
Got it. And that's what you did to add another stream of income
Yeah.
to be able to scale revenue a little bit further. When it comes to client acquisition and lead generation, like when you're looking to bring in more clients to your firm, what does that currently look like?
Our senior salesperson spends a lot of time on LinkedIn. She's been around for a long time. She has a lot of connections. She goes back and reconnects with people that maybe were our customers 10 years ago and we haven't seen them since, or people that she's known a long time. So she really works that. But we buy a good list and we do a newsletter a couple of times a year. And if we have an interesting topic, if I've written something that we think might be interesting to people, we'll send out an email blast occasionally. We don't overwhelm people. If we see something we think they might find useful,
Yeah.
we'll send something out.
Okay. So it sounds like it's mainly a lot of LinkedIn and then emails as well.
Yeah, a lot, it's a relationship business. And we don't just sell to people, but we build relationships with them. And maybe they don't buy anything from us for a while, but eventually, when the need arises, they think of us.
Very cool. One thing I always like to talk about is the idea of building predictable lead generation and having some sort of faucet where you can almost turn it on, turn it off, and get more leads at will almost when you need it. Because I think a lot of business owners, especially in this space, they tend to not do that, and then it's kind of feast or famine approach. I'm super curious your perspective on building predictable lead generation. What do you do to build more of that in your business, or what are you doing to do that? Walk me through that.
We have worked over the years with different organizations that have been helpful in that way. And so that's sometimes the way we go. Sometimes we just depend on our own very deep lists of people that we've known and worked with. And we just have a program where we recontact them and stay in touch and find them when they move elsewhere. So we do some on our own, and we have at various times worked with other organizations to do that.
So sometimes you'll have some sort of, whether it's a marketing agency or a lead gen agency,
Yeah, we've
help you.
done.
Okay, very cool. What does the sales process look like? So once a lead does come in through the door, what are the different steps that they go through for them to become a client?
As I say, our senior salesperson is absolutely masterful at developing relationships
Mm.
and trust with people. And she doesn't do a hard sell, but she learns about their needs. She finds out what's important in their world, what's going on, what they're trying to achieve. And as the conversations go on, she's helpful to them in a lot of ways, but including letting them know which of our programs or services might be of use to them.
Got
Um,
it.
yeah,
Yeah, that makes perfect sense. So it sounds like she'll build the relationship, understand really what they need, what they're looking for, and then present the solutions, but not really hard press them to
that's
close.
right. And sometimes people come directly to us because we've been around a while and
Yeah.
they'll come, they know exactly what they need and they'll come to us for that. So that's a different process.
I'm sure those are always nice when they
Oh
come
yeah,
in.
we love those.
Can't complain.
Right.
I love that. I guess at this stage in your career, when you think of the future, when you think of your like where you want to go, what does success look like personally and professionally for you?
For me, at this stage in my life, success to me looks like making sure that the company it has a solid basis and it can go on past me, and that we maintain and develop and continue to develop relationships with our customers that they know they can count on us. We're not fly by night, and that we continue to grow our business in other parts of the world. We have partners in many countries, but not certainly all of them.
Yeah,
We look forward to doing that and to working collaboratively with other organizations to provide deeper solutions.
awesome. Is there are there any specific revenue targets or performance targets that you're aiming for?
I'm really bad at that, to be honest with you. There, there are some numbers I'd like us to hit, but we don't always. And we usually have a revenue goal. Sometimes we make it, sometimes we don't, but it's good to have something out there.
Yeah. What do you feel like are the challenges you're facing right now to growing this further, to hitting those targets? What does that look like?
I think our biggest issue right now is that people are dealing with a lot of uncertainty. I think the political environment, the economic environment is such that people are tending to not want to make big, long commitments, you know?
Yeah,
And so we have to be patient. We stay with them. We support them in whatever way we can, and trust that eventually they'll take a deep breath and be willing to commit. So it's not true
yeah,
for everybody, but I think more this year than I remember in the past. I think people are just unsure about what's going to happen to the economy,
mm,
and so they're holding back a little bit.
yeah. I'm hearing a lot of people echo those same sentiments. I'm curious, what are you doing to navigate the current economic climate?
We've done a lot of different things. For example, we decided we really did not need to be in an office. We became a virtual company a few years ago, but certainly we were forced to do it over the pandemic
Yeah,
years, and then we realized we could operate very well that way. So we continued that. And that's been helpful. And we still meet virtually, not always in person, but we still stay very connected with each other. I think that's worked for us because we've worked together for such a long time. We know each other well. And
yeah,
I don't think that's a good way to start a business without some in-person contact, but it's worked for us. So that's one of the ways. People have been very flexible. There have been times, especially during the pandemic, when we've had to ask people to cut back on their hours. There just wasn't enough work.
yeah.
And they've been great about doing that. So we've done different things to try to survive, and we're still here.
There you go. Do you have any advice for consultants out there that are maybe starting in this year or the last year and they're starting their business in the middle of all this turmoil?
Right.
What would you say to those people?
I think the best advice I would have for you is choose a good partner or team. Trying to do this work on your own. I've done that. I started that way when I left a corporate job, but it makes a big difference to be part of a team. And regardless of whether you're getting a lot of business right now or you anticipate it, it's really good to have people that you can plan with, that you can lean on, that you can be stimulate, whose ideas stimulate you to think of something new. So a creative partnership or team is, I think, really important when you're starting a business. You don't want to be like everybody else. You want to have some kind of an offer that's interesting and different and appeals to the kind of people you want to work with. And that's hard to do as a solo person. So that would be my advice.
Yeah.
Don't partner up with people who are exactly like you.
Yeah.
Find people that have
Yeah.
different set of skills, different background, people you can learn from and with.
Yeah. I love that. I think that's a great point. A lot of people tend to partner up with folks just because they get along or they have similar strengths. And it's like, okay, like we could go twice as fast because we're both good at this thing. But it's
No,
not necessarily the case.
no, you need a diversity of ideas, of opinions, experiences, I think, to be really successful as a team or partnership. Yeah.
What's one mistake you see a lot of consultants making when they're starting off?
Well, it's an interesting question. I think the mistake is mostly thinking that they're going to say what they're going to do and people are going to fall in the door.
Yeah.
I think building a good marketing plan, making sure that you are connecting with all the people you know that might be interested in what you're doing or helpful, creating events that bring people together without you charging them for it early on, having the coffee clutch or the wine tasting or I mean, this is hard to do virtually,
Yeah.
but you could still do something where you show a little bit of what you have and find
Yeah.
out what people need and connect to people without obligating them to anything. It's a really great way to start out.
100%. Like basically give them a sample of what they're gonna get.
Yeah, give them a sample, and if you can do it in person, give them a glass of wine or a cup of coffee and a dessert.
Yeah.
There's nothing like food and drink that gets people interested in joining you.
Yeah. This is a random question, but are there anything, initiatives or anything specific that you guys are implementing right now that you're really excited for?
I particularly like the work that we're doing right now with emerging leaders. It's very satisfying to work with people that are open and curious and ambitious and wanting to grow and who are essentially being asked to spend their time doing that. It's a great combination. Where we are having a chance to do that, we get really excited and we love to come up with creative ways to help people start the journey of leadership.
Yeah, that is exciting, especially nowadays with all of this AI-ification of everything. I'm curious, how are you navigating that specifically? Are you thinking about implementing AI? What's the thought process there?
We're at the point I think that a lot of people in my position are in of sort of taking tentative steps and they're exploring it, learning about it, finding out how much is real and how much is hype, how much it replaces human work and how much it enhances it. So
Yeah,
we're very early in this, and I think all of us are right now.
yeah,
And so we're trying to find out. We don't think it's a foe, but we don't know what kind of a friend it's going to be yet.
yeah. That's a great point. What is the best way for the people that are interested in working with you to reach out?
Best way is to reach us through our website, which is www.barnesconti, barnesconti.com. You may be interested in reading one of my books, so you can find those in the usual places. My author name is initial B, middle name Kim, last name Barnes. And I've written books on influence and on a few other topics. So look for me on Amazon if you're interested in the books.
Awesome. Any final words before we wrap up?
Yes, anybody who's watching this, who's interested in exploring what we do and maybe giving us some new ideas about how we can work together, I'd be very happy to talk with you. So please reach out.
Awesome. Thank you so much for your time today.
You're very welcome.
Yeah. So that wraps up another insightful episode of Founders Future. To our listeners, if you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to go to barnesconti.com. We'll have that linked somewhere around here so it'll be easy to find. And if you're inspired by today's conversation, don't forget to subscribe wherever you listen to your favorite podcasts. And if you are a business owner and you're looking to scale your business and really enhance your sales and marketing efforts, visit closers.io to discover how we can support your growth journey. Until then, keep on climbing.